Come on out to Brown Mountain Bottle Works at 115 East Union Street in Morganton, North Carolina, the place to be for great craft beer. Browse their shelves with hundreds of craft beer selections. Relax and enjoy one of their 12 draft taps. Check them out on the Untapped app for their current draft beer selections and go to their website to see the latest beer offerings and events at www.brownmountainbottleworks.com. We'll see you there.
Behind the camera, we're at NC Beer Guys. Welcome to another episode of NC Beer Buzz. We have hit the road today for a Western Carolina trip, and our first stop had to be Granite Falls Brewing Company. And we're here with Brad Myers and Joseph Ackerman. Did I get those names right?
You did. Yeah, you got it right. God. You got it right.
Joseph is the head brewer here, and Brad, is it Brad?
It's Brad. Just like Brad Pitt, just not as cute.
Okay, I'll remember that for sure. Brad was with Granite Falls originally and then kind of went away and did a sojourn and has come back to join Granite Falls again. So welcome back home.
Thank you.
Do you feel like you're home again?
I've had a very good receiving. It's been a good homecoming.
The grass is not always greener. You've learned that.
Well, I prefer my own yard. Yeah.
whatever cliche suits you. Thanks for having us in, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So ever since we've been doing the business, we've heard about Granite Falls. So let's get the Granite Falls story out a little bit. We're in a historic facility doing food and beer.
Right. We have a restaurant, full service pub. This building has actually been here since, as you were told by our owner earlier, 1903, the original building.
Yeah, the camera shot owner.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
and then was purchased in the 70s by Pepsi, and then we continued the beverage production and bottling starting in 2014. And so that's when we actually started brewing beer here on the premises.
All right. And what kind of production facility are we on?
We have a 20 barrel system. We have 140 barrels of fermentation space right now. Looking to expand that before the end of the year, hopefully, as we expand our footprint in North Carolina. So,
how widely distributed are the beers?
Right now we're in the middle of South Carolina and the upstate of South Carolina, and then we're across most of North Carolina. We're not quite the Raleigh-Durham yet, but we are as far as Fayetteville, Greensboro, Chapel Hill, and down in Charlotte, a good bit there, and of course locally around here.
And you are unique in that you do a combination of a distributor and self-distributing.
That's right.
You have a distributor who allows you to do some of your own self-distribution outside of his area.
Right, exactly.
Is that an extra challenge for you guys, or does it work well?
It works okay. Distributor relations are always a challenge.
Right,
but our distributors have been really good to us. United Beverage is our distributor here in the local area, and they have done really well by us. We have 2 distributors in South Carolina right now, and then
because you have to have one in South Carolina.
You have to have one in South Carolina, right? And that's where I'm from, South Carolina.
Okay. So you knew the beer business down there a little bit.
Right. I knew all about working with distributors down there. So yeah, it's working well. The self-distribution is really doing well. We actually kind of built our own distributorship in the last year, our own network. We've got a logistics guy. We've got multiple sales reps. We're doing a different kind of model where the sales reps are actually based in the cities that they live in, and they just put in orders virtually.
So they kind of become part of that beer community where they live. That is a different model.
I think so.
Well, I mean, I think it's important if you're going to be out in the market, you need a familiar face, and if there's a problem, if you need a tap handle, something like that, it's really easy to call somebody up that's in town as opposed to having someone have to drive 3 or 4 hours to get there.
Right. So are there beer, we got a great variety of beer here on the table already. Is there a theme or a branding? I mean, when people hear about a Granite Falls beer, I don't think of anything in particular.
Right.
It kind of goes across the spectrum.
We do a lot of different things. We have multiple different series. We make 2 beers year round, so Naughty Girl Blonde Ale and Hop Life IPA, which we always have.
Now, are they the best sellers just because they're always out there?
They are the best sellers, and I'm not sure if it's just because they're always out there or if just because your IPA tends to be the best seller for most people. But we started this past year, we started doing a wildlife initiative. So it's called the Carolina Wild Series. So that's our regular seasonal series.
Regular seasonal.
Yeah.
So every for a year, I assume.
Yeah, 4 years.
You have something different as seasonal.
Right. Yeah. And so and those tend to be kind of different flavors of beer. So we do, for the summer, for instance, this is a lime cilantro golden ale. The fall is a peanut butter amber. The winter is a chocolate hazelnut porter, and the spring is actually a blood orange sake. So they all have an element of fruit or nut or some sort of.
But it ties them to the seasonal.
Right, exactly.
For those people who still drink seasonal.
Right, exactly.
Don't you find more people are not drinking seasonal, though?
I find that they drink variety. They drink whatever is new, whatever is hot.
And particularly some of us dark beer drinkers, we tend to drink dark all year round now. We're used to it was not favored really in the summertime to be drinking porters and stouts. But then there are so many porters and stouts that aren't as heavy as some porters and stouts used to be. They're like sessionable porters and stouts.
Exactly.
So why can't I drink one as a lawnmower beer? Right? I
suppose you can.
I'm personally a variety drinker. I like if something tickles my fancy or something I've never had before, I usually try to get that before I dedicate to one style. You know, there's a lot of hopheads out there that are just diehard IPA, but I try to taste the whole spectrum.
Right. So back to the other. What is this? Another one of the series?
So yeah, this other series is Blue Ridge Harvest Sour Series. So we do a series of 4 different sours for the year as well. So the summer is a.
Now this sour has to be a fairly new series.
Yeah,
you couldn't have been doing sours.
It started last spring.
Okay. So is sour going to be the new IPA?
Sour is already pretty huge. I think.
But is it going to come and go like the IPA has gone?
I don't think so.
You think sours are here to stay?
Because I think they are because they cross demographics. Sours are very easily accessible by people that drink champagne and things of that nature, and they also are refreshing.
And you can convince people that it's more than just beer gone bad.
Right. Yeah. Well, they're complex enough, and they have enough different elements of flavor in them that I think there's a lot more to delve into in the sour world.
But some of us are still learning to be sour drinkers, so it's not something I'd ever go to.
Right.
But in what we do, I do try to drink a few and learn, and I have found some that are very accessible for me. But then there's some I just can't go back to. But I used to be that way about IPAs. So I think all of us are on our own beer journeys. Even though, like us, I drink a lot of beer.
Right.
But I still continue to evolve in my personal palate,
my
personal preferences, and now I drink a lot of hop beers that I used to wouldn't have thought tolerable for me. And I guess I'll learn the same thing about sours. I'm not quite there yet.
I currently like what's going on in the craft beer movement now, because a lot of people that are not beer drinkers, the brewers are trying different styles, and it's bringing in people that normally wouldn't like something, you know. And after a while, they're eventually going to try something different, you know. So like at first, if you don't like an IPA, you know, you start off with a sour. Who knows? In 6 months, you might be drinking nothing but IPAs. It's a good way to transition non-beer drinkers.
And isn't that a particular challenge when you are the only brewery in town? I mean, you guys must have people who still come in here even after 3 or 4 years and really don't know craft beer.
Absolutely. That's the reason.
So you're still educating them.
Our blonde ale is our best seller.
Far
because it's the gateway.
Exactly.
It's something you're trying to get them to move on the continuum.
It's something that we're trying to get them to move away from, hopefully eventually, but you know, we'll see how that works.
This golden ale.
But everybody's got to start somewhere.
This golden ale is a great transition beer too for a non-beer drinker. I mean, it's light. It's what is it? 5.2?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. It's super summer is the best way I can describe it. I mean, it's like taco beer. It's great. I mean, and the one thing I really enjoy about the Carolina Wild series, a portion of the profits off of the entire series goes to maintaining North Carolina wildlife and conservation.
Okay.
So it's just a way to give back, you know.
Right.
10% of all the proceeds on each one of them goes to a different initiative. So the Mustang Beach goes to the Corolla Wild Horse Fund for the wild horses, keep them roaming free.
But don't you think it's important for every brewery that wants to be a part of the community to give back?
Absolutely.
And as Mario was saying off camera, Granite Falls is certainly a part of the community here and prides itself on what it can give back to the community.
Exactly.
And part of that is the goodwill, and you want to be accepted. You want the people to know you're a player. but you also want them to know that you care.
Absolutely.
And that you are here to stay, and you're investing in the community here.
That's right.
As a matter of fact, right now, currently in our back warehouse, we're setting up for a voluntary yard sale. People can come and bring in their stuff. Every bit of the money raised is going to go to the Special Olympics, is that right? Yeah.
Special Olympics, yeah. So we do a lot of different.
But it might be another cause, another weekend.
It might be another cause,
right.
yeah.
But if you've got a place and you've got a community and you've got an obligation and a willingness to give back.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's talk about the restaurant a little bit. Now, everybody doesn't do food with their beer.
Right.
You guys, do you brew to the menu, or what is the synergy between the food service and the beer?
So the restaurant here is really good. We actually won a lot of awards and things for that. We have traditional pub fare, so we have really good wings and burgers and pizza and things like that. Some of the beers that and we also on some of our menus put suggested pairings and things.
Okay,
like
so
that.
you do that. Okay.
Yeah, with the beers.
And a lot of the recipes in the kitchen actually utilize the beers
Okay,
that
so
we
I was
have on
going to ask.
tap.
The chef does cook with some of the beer too, incorporates
I'd
it.
probably say close to half of the recipes in our menu incorporate the beer we make.
In some way, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for instance, the blonde is in the beer cheese that we make here. The Imperial Red is in the chili. Just all the different things that they can do with the beer.
So that's a different challenge for you and for the chef, both. Right.
Well, it gives both sides of a wall a chance to strut, pretty much,
Yeah, because you are known from the outside probably equally for the beer and the food.
Especially
And that's not right.
Community here, yeah. Our name is becoming more known throughout North Carolina as far as for the
beer.
Right, but in this community, I think a lot of people still think we're a restaurant and
don't really even
right.
know about the beer. Or
Because this is still a dry county. We're pretty much the only alcohol on premise in this county. So,
which is Caldwell County.
Right. So a lot of people, I think, still just view us as a restaurant, but we are.
And there's not a lot of options for them to go into a place where they should expect food and beer because there just aren't those places.
Right. Yeah, and so because of the size of our windows and things of that nature, sometimes people I think don't even realize how big of an operation it is and how far spread we are, and it's a lot different than I think a lot of the local people here realize that they probably don't know that they can go to Winston-Salem and
see the brand in a store shelf or in a Sheets or in a whatever is there, right? So let's talk before we close about some special stuff. You must do some small batches, some one-offs, some barrel aging, some cellaring. What's kind of your fun stuff?
I have what I said to Dave earlier is a fledgling barrel program. We've got 42 barrels that have been put into place since I've been here. I've only been here a little less than 2 years as the head brewer. So. And
you brewed somewhere else before, or this was your first big brew gig?
I started a brewery in South Carolina, which I will not name. But yeah, so I started the barrel program. I do a lot of barrel aged sours and wine barrels. Also do some bourbon barrel aging. You've had one of my bourbon barrel aged beers. But this series specifically is really one of the things I'm most proud of that I've done here. This is called the Leaves of Grass series. It's inspired by Walt Whitman poetry because I was a literature major in college.
And you were a theater major. We heard that, right? Theater. Right.
So we're artists.
So we're art. Well, aren't all brewers artists now? Come on now.
That's right. Exactly. They are.
Right.
So with this series, that I take multiple different yeast strains, age them in multiple different wine barrels, blend them together after a year or 2 years, depending on how long they take. I've got several back there that are over a year and a half old right now, as far as the beer in there. Blend them together to my taste, and then fruit them with whatever fruit will go well with the flavor characteristics of that beer. So the last release on the series was a peach wild ale.
But now these are very limited releases.
Right. These
are more small batch artisanal sort of things.
Okay.
We're talking about 100 bottles.
If you're lucky.
100 gallons.
Okay.
So about 450 bottles total of each batch of these. They're bottle conditioned and they're done in the Belgian tradition. So they take a long time to brew. They take a lot of work to make, but there's some things that I'm really proud of.
Which explains to our viewers why you'll pay something different for these as you will for these.
Absolutely.
When you see this on your fine beer shelf, don't be put off by the price because there's a lot more going into this than this. Not that these aren't equally wonderful beers, but these are special.
That's right.
Right.
As noted.
That's a special occasion sort of beer. I mean, you can drink it
right.
anytime you want, but Uncle Uncle Buck come in for Christmas or something like that, and you want the camaraderie, you want to share something with them more than just a Miller Lite.
It's something he won't have everywhere else. He won't get everywhere else either. That's right. Good. Thanks so much, guys. It's great being in.
Really
we wish you the best of luck. And we're going to go find some samples of this great food to go with this great beer. Until next time, this is David Glenn from Granite Falls Brewing Company. Remind you to drink local and keep your beer dollars in North Carolina.
Cheers.